Hey guys, it's Brooke. Welcome back to my channel, where today we will be discussing the Sporty one, the new memoir by Mel C, aka Sporty Spice of the Spice Girls. And real quick, just before I get started, I want to say a big thank you to Grand Central Publishing for sending me this gifted copy. Okay, so this is a very in-depth look at the life of Mel C, or Melanie Chisholm. We start off with her growing up as a kid in Liverpool, with really a single mother. She's a child of divorce, and she goes into detail about how that affected her as a child. And we also learn that her mother was a professional singer, so music was kind of always in Mel C's blood. Her mother always had music playing around the house, whether it was Stevie Wonder or the Rolling Stones or the Beatles. And what really inspired Mel C to become a performer was watching Madonna at Live Aid in the 80s on TV. So she really had music just ingrained in her, but not just music. She was also a very gifted dancer as a child. So much so that she competed in a bunch of local competitions and won those competitions, and that led to her being accepted into a dance academy in London when she was just 16. Now, after graduating, work was really hard to come by, so she made up her mind that she was going to audition as a performer for a cruise ship, just to be able to get some kind of income and just to be able to make a living as a performer, even though it wouldn't pay that much. And it wasn't something that she really wanted to do, but she was just kind of at her wit's end and running out of options. Now, was it fate? I don't know. Maybe when she was in the lobby to audition for that cruise ship, she was given a flyer just randomly by someone advertising a management group putting together a group of women pop singers and choreographed dancers for a record label. So she knew she could not let that opportunity slip by. And the book really takes off from there with the formation of the Spice Girls. It makes up a huge chunk of the book because they really just took off so quickly right after they were formed. They really had a meteoric rise, and they were on top of the world for those 2 years and those 2 albums that they made as a group of 5. And what I really loved is, from reading this, and from experiencing it, you know that the Spice Girls truly embodied girl power. They would not let anybody get in the way of their vision. The 5 of them had a strong vision, and they would not let anybody take them off that path. They would not let people tell them how to dress or how to look or how to act. They actually ended up firing those managers that actually put them together as this group of 5. So they really were not into letting men especially tell them who they should be, how they should act, what type of music they should sing, what they should wear, anything like that. They were fully in control of their own destiny, even though they were put together as a group. One of my favorite stories that Mel tells in here that kind of goes along with that is that Geri Halliwell, her iconic Union Jack dress, which I'll try to put up on the screen here somewhere in case you don't know what I'm talking about, but that iconic Union Jack dress that she wore at the Brits, which she was originally told she can't wear that, but obviously she did not listen, but that is a tea towel sewed onto a Gucci dress. Geri's sister sewed it on. I just love that story. I'd never heard that before, so I wanted to share that in case none of you knew that little factoid about the Spice Girls. I also loved learning about their songwriting sessions. You would think maybe a major pop group like that was put together by auditions maybe wouldn't have much say in their own material, but no, these girls with 2 writing partners were in the studio actually writing these songs, having input on how they sounded, everything, production. They were truly musical artists, not just pop stars. Now, of course, with that level of fame and being female pop stars, there are going to be downsides of fame, and Mel touches on those heavily. She talks about how their manager wasn't always great to them and he didn't treat them as equals. So the other girls were allowed to have a boyfriend. Well, for Mel C, it was discouraged. She was told she was too vulnerable to have a boyfriend. She was also told that it'd probably be best if she didn't speak in interviews, because she would only end up embarrassing herself in the group if she opened her mouth. There's also, of course, the media, specifically the British media, can be very tough on famous people, specifically female celebrities. So Mel already had troubles with food and exercise. So if you're sensitive to that, just be aware. She really goes into detail about her struggle with eating disorders and exercise. So just those constant comments from the British tabloids really, really got to her and were just horrible. There were constantly polls about who's your favorite Spice Girl, who's the prettiest Spice Girl. So those things would really take a toll on all of them. But Mel C especially. There's also, fame and the paparazzi go hand in hand. So she talks about the paparazzi who would hide in the bushes for photos of them, who tapped their phone lines. So they were terrified to even, call their parents, call their family members, because they knew there was a high chance that the paparazzi was listening in on their conversations. Now, although she and the Spice Girls are incredibly famous, she says fame is just one aspect of her struggle. And I think that is so true. She's a real person with real human emotions and feelings. And she details a lot of things in this book that a lot of non-famous people deal with, whether it's body image or eating disorders or anxiety, depression. There's so many things that you can relate to Mel C about in this book. So she mentions multiple times that just if this book can help one person that's feeling lonely or struggling or doesn't think it can ever get better, this book is to be a friend to you and to offer you hope. And I think she did a great job in accomplishing that. And I don't really like to judge memoirs because it's someone's lived experience in life and how they view their own life. But if I had to give one critique just solely based on from a reader's standpoint, it could get just a tiny bit repetitive at times, but that's the only complaint that I would have. But that's just a minor thing. I truly had so much fun reading this book. I learned a lot about Mel C and the Spice Girls. I learned a lot about London and London slang. There's a lot of words she uses that I had to look up so I could get the full understanding of what she was saying. There is actually some terms that I understood just from watching like Zoella on YouTube for years that I wouldn't have known otherwise. And she also includes a little like glossary in the back to, give you some hints as to what it is she's saying. Here, the glossary. Like one that I didn't know was chippy, means a fish and chip shop. She worked at a chippy when she was younger, so it was nice to have that little glossary back there to help me out. Now, memoirs are some of my favorite books to read. One of the reasons being because there's always this little section of photos, usually in the middle. Sometimes I've seen them at the very end. But I love it because whenever something is referenced in the text, you can go usually and find a photo to correlate with that. So you could see what they looked like, what they were wearing, just to get a really good frame of reference and make the story that you're reading so much richer, and give you that visual image. And one of my favorites was she mentioned their first time meeting now King Charles, and I think it was, Nelson Mandela at the same time, and they were just their bubbly, energetic, whirlwind selves, and King Charles just ate it up, and they really, really made an impression on him to where he invited them back to his home later. But I love just have this photos to go along with that story because I'd never seen this photo before. So overall, if you love like late 90s, early 2000s music, early 2000s nostalgia, if you love the Spice Girls, if you love Sporty Spice, if she's your favorite, I highly recommend this book, even if you just like memoirs or learning more about celebrities or pop culture. I think this is a great one to pick up and you'll have a great time reading it because I know I did. Okay guys, so that was just a few of my thoughts on The Sporty One by Mel C. Like I said, I highly recommend. It's a great time. You'll learn a lot. Do be forewarned because she talks about some heavy topics in this book, so just look those up beforehand if you're cautious. But still, overall, a really great, well-rounded read, and I learned a lot. Okay guys, so thanks for being here. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you're curious to pick that up or at least go find out more about it, or maybe just go learn more about the Spice Girls. Go listen to the Spice Girls because they have some great pop records. I'm really excited for coming up as the 25th anniversary of Spice World, I think. So I think they're releasing that on vinyl. So I'm a big vinyl collector, so I'll definitely be looking into getting that. Alrighty guys, I'll see you next time. Bye!